Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to Totally Accurate Battle Simulator. And today we're going to be having a what-if historical scenario, which is what if the Roman Empire had contact with China? Because of course China was doing its thing, whilst the Roman Empire was doing its thing, and in between them was Persia. And Persia sort of didn't want the Romans to know about the Chinese, and the Chinese to know about the Romans. Of course, via trading and stuff, they did learn about each other, but they didn't really manage to get to talk to each other properly, as it were. They never really got to you know, pit their military against each other and all that, because Persia was sort of stuck in the middle. And Persia didn't like the two empires talking to each other, so Persia was sort of the blockage stopping the Romans talking to the Chinese. But here is what if the Romans, for some reason, decided to sail all the way to China and decide to take on the Chinese? So the Chinese were in the Han Dynasty for a large part of the Roman Empire's existence, before it split into probably the Three Kingdoms. And so I've made a Han faction, with a total of 9 units, I think it is currently, all of which are using various sorts of things of varying costs and usefulness. So, what we've got here is we are on the ancient sandbox, because it has got this little bit right over here, which I thought was as good of a thing as any to look a bit like Chinese architecture. It's not, as you can tell, but it looked better than the actual dynasty map we have in-game, and it's better for actually setting up battles on with ancient sandbox. So what we've got here is we've got the Han defending this sort of walled-off little fort, I suppose you could say, against the oncoming Roman invasion force. So I'll go over the Romans last, because we've seen them a bunch of times, and instead I'll go over the Han. So the Han had varying usage of weapons. They had long pole arms, they had swords, they had shields. They also had straight up shield bearers, like we have currently in the base game. These guys just have a shield and that's it. So what I've got here is I've got some Han shield bearers. They are creating a very big, solid wall of shields, behind which we've got some, long lances carried by some more Han troops. And these Han troops have got a variety of different armor, ranging from, sort of wood to hide to all sorts of stuff to metal. It was sort of all over the place. But yeah, so we've just got some standard sword boys, well, not sword boys, rather polearm boys right there, along with our shield boys. And then we've also got something which I made quickly, because I realised I didn't actually have a standard bearer for the Han. So yeah, we've just got this guy. He's just he's just wearing sort of robes and stuff, which is nothing too spectacular, but he does the job. And so yeah, we've got a bunch of those guys keeping the Han in formation here. On this side we've got some Han swordsmen carrying shields. These are the Lancer shields, or the what is it? Yeah, they're not Lancer shields, but they're they're jousting shields. That's it, jousting shields, because they're the closest I could find to the shields that they had in the Han Dynasty, because we're sort of a bit limited on shields in tabs. So yeah, we've got these guys. They've also got some medieval swords, which are acting as the Jian, or Xian, however it's pronounced, but the sword that the Chinese used a lot. So yeah, these guys are just your typical swordsmen. They've got their shields and swords, and they're on the flanks with the main spiky boys making up the central formation. But the thing which is most probably unsurprising about the Han is that they loved crossbows. Like, out of all of the various weapons the Han had, they had over 500,000 crossbows. They loved crossbows. So I've just got a whole load of crossbow boys on the side here. So we've got regular crossbowmen here, along with some repeating crossbowmen here, and they're just wearing basic robes and hats, because I'm basing this off of drawings and pictures that I'm finding on the internets. So yeah, on either side we've got a formation of crossbowmen, because, well, yeah, if the Han were to fight a battle against the Romans, they'd bring a lot of crossbows. So yeah, these guys are defending the main fortress outside, and then coming to the back here we've got another short row of shield bearers and spiky boys, along with some regular crossbowmen at the back here, followed by some Han troops wielding dows, which are these long, great very scary looking pole arms, which are very cool. Yeah, so we've got these guys back here, along with some Han shock troops, which are these guys there wearing a whole load of metal. They look really cool. They are the elite of the Han Dynasty, and they're the last ditch attempt of defending the fortress. So that is the Han breakup of troops that we've got going on here. Well, I could have added in some halberds and stuff, but I decided that I would keep it like this. It's close enough to something that might resemble somewhat a little bit what the Han had. But attacking them, we've of course got the Romans, the good old Romans. Not too much to say about this. We've got a very wide line of Triarii making the straight push forwards against the shield bearers and polearm troops. So obviously Triarii, because they've got the spears, obviously going spear against spear is better than sword against spear due to just having range. And then behind them we've got some velites. This is a thick amount of Triarii as well. It's a 9 wide by 4 deep amount of Triarii back here, which is a lot. Followed by legionaries making up the side flanking troops. So we've got a 7 by 3 deep supported by velites, and again 7 by 3 deep followed by velites at the back here as well. Pretty standard Roman formation. Obviously these guys are also backed up there by velites, but then behind them we've got some praetorians headed up by the praetorian centurion right here, along with the legate and his bodyguard back here. So they're going to be the ones facing off against, hopefully, the shock troops right at the back here. Now I'm excited to see how this goes, because I'm expecting this front line here to sort of get a bit bogged down thanks to the massive shields carried by the shield bearers, followed by the polearm troops back here. The swordsmen versus the regular infantry legionaries shouldn't prove too much of a threat, and these guys are going to inflict some casualties, but hopefully the big old Roman shields will be able to sort that out. So yeah, let's get into this. So in go the lines. Obviously the main crossbows are going to fire first, so in they go. The Romans are going to be able to block a couple of those shots, but probably not all of them. In they come. Very nice higher arcing, and yet the Roman formation did indeed manage to block all of those crossbow bolts this time. Very good. On this side, yeah, again, it's made a bit of a dent. The formation has come apart slightly, but they did manage to block all of those shots. Obviously, the repeating crossbows are shorter range, so they're not yet into combat, but the legionary force here is splitting. By the looks, half of them are going to go forwards, and looks like yet they're on track to deal with the crossbowmen, whilst the rest of the force is going to go forwards and deal with the main Han line here. For the most part, the Triarii are sort of keeping in pace, but not really. The Centurion is, of course, pushing forwards, followed by the Praetorians, which are all making their way forwards very nicely. It looks like they didn't get off scot-free. Looks like one velite has died back here, which is not all too good for the Romans. In comes the crossbow shots from the boys at the back, defending the main fortress, and in goes the repeating crossbow shots. The Centurion is, of course, doing, for the most part, the blocking, but a couple of those repeating crossbow bolts are probably going to get through to these guys. As you can see, just the volume of shots going in, and the same on this side. Less of the legionary forces getting pulled towards the crossbows. Oh, this guy's just getting his shield peppered with shots, and he's taken the main brunt of it. He finally died, but he took most of those shots from that repeating crossbows, which is really helping the Romans, probably, actually, that. His sacrifice will not be in vain. Same with this guy. Yeah, unfortunately, we lost one legionary there. That guy... Oh, I thought he'd been shot in the head, but no, that's actually a shot to his shield. We've lost another legionary there, so they have taken out a couple of Romans, but in go the first Roman lines. The Centurion, of course, has pushed forwards, and yet here they all come, the legionaries going forwards to deal with the swordsmen. Oh, very nice shot from a velite there, managed to take down one of the Han swordsmen quite nicely. The Triarii, of course, pushing in, trying to push past the shield wall made by the shield bearers to get to the polearm troops at the back. Not overly successful. Meanwhile, the legionaries moving in now to deal with the crossbowmen and their missile troops. Yeah, in they come. Oh, very nice consolidated push there by the Romans. Probably a bit too many legionaries trying to deal with them, but we'll have to wait and see how the repeating crossbowmen do. In go the rest of the Roman lines, pushing forwards very nicely. Obviously going to be suffering some casualties, but now the Praetorians are getting involved. Yep, in they come, making a push. You can see that there's still the shield wall is still standing for the Han, which is hopefully giving their polearm troops a bit of help. The rest of the legionary force, the Centurion's just been taken down, but he has taken down a couple of swordsmen with him. The crossbow troops at the sides here, not doing overly well. The Romans are blocking some shots there. The repeating crossbowmen, I think, have just about... Yep, they've reloaded. In they go. Oh, the Velites are trying their best. The crossbowmen are definitely not having the best of times trying to deal with the Romans here. But the repeating crossbowmen on this flank, though, are trying to shoot into the Roman force, trying to help out their friends, but I think, for the most part, the Han swordsmen have been wiped away. The main central force is holding the best, I think, out of everything. The crossbowmen at the back here are just about reloaded. They're about to fire off their shots. Oh, looks like the shock troops are slowly but surely making their way forwards. They really want to get involved. It'll be a while though before they can. For the most part, yeah, the Romans have pretty much swarmed on this side. The legionaries on this side, though, they've suffered some casualties dealing with these repeating crossbowmen, which I must admit I did expect. The repeating crossbowmen, if they can get behind those Roman shields, can easily do a whole load of damage. In they go, though. Now the lads on the side are coming to mop up the crossbowmen after, the Velites have given them a going over. Got Triari actually has been brought in as well on this side. Looks like, yeah, here comes a Centurion. Hey! Lovely seeing a Centurion still up. Going for a nice slash. Yeah, in he goes. Oof, along with a Legionary. And, yeah, well, there's a Triari, and they're going to finish up with that side pretty quickly. The first Romans are pushing forwards onto the Han front line, defending the villa, or defending the little fortress wall. We got a couple of Triari actually pushing forwards. Couple of they're actually pushing out from the main defensive line here, as they go to jab these Romans that have foolishly tried to take on the Han Empire. They're actually pushing past the shield wall, which not necessarily the best strategy. There's still quite a few Romans though still left up, so the Han have got their work cut out, because whilst this little force is going to be dealt with probably before they can break through, they're not going to last once these Romans get in. There's still, yeah, quite a few Romans that are going to be able to take them out, or at least attempt to take them out. Obviously it's going to be down to the shock troops and the Dao to win the day for the Han here, because the polearms are actually doing their thing. The Lancers are pushing forwards. They've lost maybe one or two, and then after that the shieldmen are not really going to be able to hold their own against actual sword-armed troops. But down goes a Legionary, I think, there, but they're just dealing with the last crossbowman on this side. Yep, down he goes in a moment. They've suffered some casualties dealing with these guys, definitely more so on this side, but yep, this side has now been finished, and that's a lot of Praetorians and the Legate and the Praetorian Centurion coming to deal with the remaining Han troops. We've got a shieldman who did get brought in but has now died. Just got these last few shield bearers left. Obviously the Velites are not going to be able to do all too much. Still got the crossbowmen though. They have still got a couple of ranged units back here, which are not going to be able to do all too much. As you can see, there's a mesmerising crossbow bolt as it gets stuck in the ground. Got a Praetorian heading the charge, two Praetorians actually heading the charge, along with some Triari pushing their way up. It looks like the spearmen have been taken out, along with the remaining crossbowman left on this side, so the Romans are now able to push forwards. Obviously the Velites are now going to be pushing forwards as well, hoping to get some ranged projectiles in. Where's this one going? Oh, oh, unfortunate. I was expecting that to hit the crossbowman, if I'm perfectly honest. I was really hoping it would hit a shock trooper, just whilst they're stuck back there. But looks like that didn't work. The Romans, of course, pushing upwards. Not always the best to be pushing up a slope, trying to deal with these guys, but they are now pushing forwards. The shield bearers probably won't be all too much of a problem now. The real problem is going to be these guys, the swordsmen, the shock troopers, who are going to be coming forwards now at any point to deal with the Romans. As in comes some Velite missiles. Obviously, Velite missiles aren't going to be doing all too much against these massive shields that the Han have got. But shock troopers now, yep. Triari just hit him in the head with his shield. As in goes the shock trooper, yep, swiftly deals with him. Praetorian, though, getting involved. Come on, lad. In comes another Praetorian, getting buffeted around as the rest of the Roman force is pushing their way up. Yet they're really pushing up the slope now. Praetorian managed to block the sword hit from the shock trooper. The shock troopers are now going to be trying their best. Down goes the standard bearer shortly, I should imagine. In he goes, giving them one last heave-ho, and yep, down he goes, just after he made his cue. In comes, look at this lot. Look at this amount of Roman shields coming up. There's still a regular centurion still left up as well. Always lovely to see at this late stage of the battle. But in they go. Looks like the Triari are giving it their best. Got a Praetorian breaking his way out here, dealing, or at least trying to deal with a... down goes a shield bearer. And then gets hit by a Dao. Not good at all. Yeah, Praetorian definitely, yep, didn't last. In go the Daos. Definitely taking him out there. You've got a few shock troopers still left over here, which are making their way. Obviously the Romans are now upon them, so they're being forced back. We've still got a shield bearer in here, amazingly. He's still alive. As I say that, he then dies. Praetorian Centurion getting involved as well. It's the Dao troops are going to want to do something against this lot. Look at how many Romans are still left. I was not expecting this at all. Definitely not. I was expecting the Han to really have something to say about this, but the Romans have really managed to push their way in. Look at the amount of Romans still left. The shock troops are going to be the ones to try and take this out. Very nice Dao swipe there, dealing with that Triari, who managed to push all the way up. He did manage to knock down the standard bearer, but didn't kill him. Interesting. Yeah, indeed, up he comes, saving the banner, giving the Han some rallying talk. Obviously that should help their morale, seeing their standard get raised back up. But down goes a Dao trooper to I think the Praetorian, as in comes the Centurion along with some Triari pushing him. The Velites, obviously the ones at the back now, got free reign over the battlefield, arcing those shots. In comes a missile, taking down that Dao trooper, and also taking down the standard bearer. Very good, taking down the standard bearer. In comes the Dao, going for a swipe, misses the legionary, but also dodges a missile in there. Looks like the last few shock troopers are left here. I think the shock troopers probably would have done more if there had been less Romans, if I'm perfectly honest, but well, I think the die has been cast, and the Han are not winning this. The Dao trooper just gets chucked straight over, and in comes a Praetorian and a legionary, way over the top. Narrowly dodges a Velite spear, and that legionary just saved that Dao from dying to a Velite spear, but I don't think it's really going to do him all too much use. I think the last shock trooper has died over here. I think it's just this remaining soldier with the Dao, and he's going to die at any moment now, as in comes the weight of the Romans. He's surviving, amazingly. In come some Volite missiles, and no. The javelin managed to catch him right in the shoulder blade, which is unfortunate. I was hoping that we'd be able to clear out a few more Romans here so that we could actually see the rest of the battlefield here, but no matter. We can sort of see how it went. The Romans definitely won this by a lot. I'm surprised at how many Romans are still left up here. I really expected them to be able to clean up a bit better than this, but still, no. They managed to push their way in. We've got some friendly faces here, which are, for the Romans at least, which are still alive, which is always nice to see. Namely, the legate, the Praetorian centurion, but also a regular centurion who is in here somewhere, who is still alive, which I'm completely amazed at. He's in here somewhere. I'm sure he's still alive. I saw him right near the end of the battle, so surely he's still alive in here. I just need to try and find him. Try and find his headdress. Come on, centurion, where are you? Where are you, indeed? Is that no? That's a Praetorian. We've still got a bunch of Praetorians actually left up as well, which is nice to see. Ah, there he is. There he is. Centurion. Very nice. So yeah, they're all actually bunched up together. I just didn't see him when I was looking at these two. He was sort of hidden behind this Praetorian charging. But yeah, those are three high-ranking Roman officers that are still alive, which is always nice to see. The shock troopers, I think, did take their toll up here. There's a bunch of dead Romans actually in this area. The Dow, the long range of the Dow, and the shock troopers have put paid to some Roman lives here, but they did manage to push up. They did manage to take out, get their way into this. Well, we'll call it a fortress. Why not? Looks like we've got possibly a dead Praetorian under here somewhere because of that shield. Or possibly it's from this Praetorium right there, which it looks like it might actually be. As for the main battlefield here, yeah, surprisingly few Roman casualties. I'm genuinely amazed at that. Don't know how this shield bearer managed to get over here. Here's a dead legionary, dead to one of the early crossbow bolts. We can see as well, here's another legionary, there's this legionary. All of those guys did die to the crossbows, which, yeah, is not all too surprising. They were bound to get a couple of them, but they did only get a couple. There's this guy, obviously, that took all of those repeating crossbow bolts, really helped out the Roman cause. This guy took probably like 4 full magazines of repeating crossbow bolts from 4 of those repeating crossbow troopers. But yeah, as you can see, surprisingly few actual Roman casualties over here, dealing with the crossbowmen. 1 dead legionary, but that's about it. This side had a few more, including a Praetorian, which, yeah, good on you, Han Dynasty. Managed to take out a Praetorian here, plus obviously a few regular Roman troops. Looks like these guys are probably, yep, legionaries. No big surprise, they were the ones on the flank dealing with these guys mostly. The main Han line just sort of collapsed, I do have to admit. Yeah, dead Romans all over this place, but considerably more dead Han troops. We got another dead Praetorian right there. Probably, I think, a Centurion's dead in here as well somewhere, because I did see, yep, a rounded shield right there, so I think a Centurion is dead. But the main Han front line, with their shield bearer spearman combination, held up the longest compared to the flanks, but yeah, really didn't do all too well. Obviously, some Romans died over here because a little force tried to take out that front line, which didn't go all too well before they managed to push in and deal with the remaining Han troops left up in the fortress. And yeah, that's surprising, the amount of how swiftly the Romans were able to actually deal with that battle. Although, to be honest, the Han troops were a bit split up. There was also a lot of crossbowmen, because the Han definitely did favour crossbows. Over 500,000 crossbows, as I said, in their armory. In, I think it was like a 1 AD inventory supply or something that I found. But yeah, a whole load of swords, but a whole load of crossbows. So this is sort of correct to what the Han might have had. But yeah, if I was to take out the crossbows, then there would be considerably less Han troops to actually deal for the Romans to actually deal with. Let me try this once more. I'm going to give the Han some more troops and see how that goes. We'll give them some halberds and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll give them some more actual regular troops and I'll see how that goes. Okay, so here's what I've done for the Han. I've given them some halberd troops back here, so they've got, you know, the big old pole axes on either flank, giving them some more melee troops actually connecting up to the crossbow lines at the back. I've also given them some dao wielding troops, supplementing their frontline spearmen, and I've also given them 5 shock troops back here as well. So the Romans are now far more considerably outnumbered. Before they were only slightly outnumbered with 117 to 126, but now, as you can see, it's 155 with the additional Han troops compared to the 117 of the Romans. Also, the Han cost is now nearly 20,000, whereas the Romans are just over 15, near 16,000. And I have, of course, not changed the Romans at all. So let's see how this goes for the Romans. Now, considering that a large amount of the Han troops were comprised of, you know, crossbow troops, this is now far more evenly spread in terms of actual melee troops, because the Han were outnumbered in melee troops, even if the Romans were outnumbered in total troops. But as you can see, the Romans can easily deal with crossbows, which is what a lot of the Han comprises of, a whole load of crossbow troops. So in this case, the Han have decided to, you know, supplement their lines with far more melee troops to deal with the melee-focused Romans. So of course, the front amount of crossbow bolts didn't do much. They sort of were easily dealt with by the Romans, as we saw in the last battle. I don't think we lost a single person. We've got a very small-headed legionary here. I think it's because he's just a small he's a small character model for whatever reason. But yeah, that's a very small velite. Yeah, absolutely no Roman casualties this time from the front line fire of the crossbows. So that's something that the Romans have got going on. In comes a couple more crossbow bolts, but those missed. those ones missed and these ones bounced. In go the repeating crossbows though. This is where I'm expecting a couple of Roman casualties though. As you can see, some of them are starting to get impaled into the shields of the Romans. Obviously, the Centurion, if he can, is blocking the shots, but the Centurion's not always going to be there. In the case of this man, oh yeah, down he goes. One legionary down. There's another legionary down. Definitely not helping the Roman cause there. There's another legionary not down. He's getting trampled by his friends, but he's not dead. Here comes the main Roman thrust. Let's view it from the Han. In they come. Roman thrust. In goes the Centurion. And in will come the Triarii. In they go. In they come. Colliding with the front lines, obviously the Dao are going to be coming in. Looks like the Han are actually the ones pushing out this time. That's interesting. They didn't do that last time. Maybe this is a new tactic they're deciding to develop. I definitely didn't tell them to do that, because that's now completely ruined their frontal attack. Centurion, oh, I thought he might have died because the shield sort of went up in the air, but no, that's just him defending. Looks like, yep, once again the legionaries have split. Some of them have gone to crossbowmen, some of them have gone to the main front line. Centurion down very early to a halberd. No big surprise there. Those troops, those weapons at least, are definitely damaging, most certainly, especially to their friends, as that guy just got hit. Main Roman force actually getting a bit bogged down. That's definitely not what I was expecting. The Romans are confused, I think. Fair to say. The front line is definitely holding up a lot better, though, for the Han. The Roman front line is definitely not making as much headway as it did before. The swordsmen on this side, yep, they're holding up. We've got the Triari are trying their best to push in, but the shield bearers and the Dao, oh, those long-range polearms are really putting paid to the Romans, even if they are Triari. Even on this side, look, they've managed to push them out. The halberds are definitely putting in the work against the Romans, which is no surprise, to be perfectly honest. I don't even know if the Romans are going to be able to push up to the main compound here. I don't think they are. If I'm being honest with you here. This flank appears to be falling. I mean, the Centurion died to the halberds. But yeah, we've still got some Han swordsmen up here. We've still got the halberds, obviously. I don't think a single one of them have died. The main frontal force here, the Praetorians are obviously getting stuck in now. Amazingly, even the standard bearers getting caught up with this as well. We've got, unsurprisingly as well, the shock troops pushing in. In comes the legionary, going for another push. Oh, and swiftly gets a halberd to the back. His armour did not save him with that. Yet those Han halberds are really helping him out. Yep, down goes another trooper. Down goes another legionary. Definitely not looking good for the Romans here. Obviously, they're taking out the crossbows, but the crossbows aren't really the things to watch out for. Looks like on this flank, a couple of the crossbows are trying to deal with the velites, who are sort of just peppering the main Han front line. Yeah, these velites, you can see the Roman line is just collapsing. You can watch the tide of the battle turn from back here. You can just imagine what these velites are wondering, or at least thinking. Still, the Romans are giving it their best. They've lost the flank. They've lost the flank. They're about to lose this flank as well. Yeah, halberds doing their thing. The halberds are probably going to be the MVPs of this battle for the Han. I do have to admit. Down goes a Praetorian right there. This man here, along with another legionary. Still got most of their shock troops up. Still got another shield bearer as well, actually, up here. They have lost some of the shock troops though. There's one dead. There's another one dead there. The Praetorians, they're going to want to try and win this back for the Romans, but yeah, not sure about that. The repeated crossbowmen trying their best, trying to deal with these last remaining few Triari. On this flank, most of the halberds have actually been dealt with, amazingly. I'm only seeing a couple of them actually remaining up here. Still got the Praetorian Centurion there, which is very nice to see. We've still got a whole mess of Praetorians. We've still got we've actually still got the legate as well. Oh, in comes a legionary. In goes another legionary. Oh, halberd manages to kill off one of the Praetorians, but in comes a Triari. Oh, in comes... Oh, I was hoping the Velite would have been able to kill one of those repeating crossbowmen as a Triari just goes straight in, trying to deal with them. Yeah, the remaining few Romans trying to deal with the flank over here. We've got one brave Praetorian, two brave Praetorians, I think. Yeah, that guy's still alive, so we've still got two brave Praetorians here, trying to deal with the halberds, doing their best to try and dodge the dodge the massive polearms, as well as a regular legionary. Regular old legionary is coming in as well to trying to help them. Looks like they've still got a couple of repeating crossbowmen left up. The remaining halberders died on this side, so the Romans might actually be able to make some sort of push against the remains of against the fortress, but they don't have enough troops to deal with that. Quite honestly, I reckon. Oh yeah, down goes the legionary, and it's just one Praetorian left now, I think. No, both of them are still alive, dealing with this. Oh, finally they managed to get off the halberder over there. Very nice. There's another Praetorian. There's three Praetorians. Can confirm we've got three Praetorians left over that flank. On this flank, we've still got the Praetorian Centurion. Have we still got the legate? That's the real question here. I think we might still have the legate, but I can't see him. I don't know. If I was the Roman commander at this point, I would probably not even try and attack the fortress. I would deal with the remaining Han troops that are left outflank here, or out the front, and sort of just back up and put the place under siege. One of the Praetorians has died there. This Praetorian blocking some repeating... Look at... The crossbowmen just keep on backing up and backing up because the Romans weren't able to push on them. I think the halberds over this flank actually died to the velites. The velites managed to kill them whilst I was looking at the retreating crossbowmen. Please, Praetorian, don't try it. He has the high ground. They have the high ground. You underestimate your own power. Don't do it. Oh no, he's gonna die. He is going to die to these guys. One Praetorian cannot do it, I'm sorry. The Romans are making their way up the flanks. I mean, the legate might have died, which is why the Romans are still pushing. I can't see the legate's body though, so I don't know where he is. I have no idea where he is. They're dealing with the remaining crossbowmen that are left up here. Oh, one of the shield bearers died. One of the Romans here, I think probably the Praetorian, pushed his shield out of the way, which allowed the velite to just hit in the shoulder with a javelin, and the Praetorian managed to also cut down one of the shield bearers as well. Very nice. Yeah, the little Praetorian that couldn't. Well, he couldn't. He didn't manage to kill a single one, I don't think. Oh, one of the spearmen just went down to one of the velites. Oh, down goes another one. The velites are going to really be useful, I think, here to what remains of the Roman force. I don't know how much of a chance they're in with, though, if I'm perfectly honest. Down goes a Praetorian, cartwheeling into his friend, knocking him over. No, velite. Oh, the velite managed to friendly fire one of the remaining triarii. That's very, very bad. The other one, oh, managed to take him out with an ankle shot. Managed to kill off that crossbowman. Over here, the velites are advancing on the retreating Han ranged troops. One of the velites has died. The repeating crossbowmen, I think, are out. I think it's just the regular crossbowmen that are firing at this point. There's the legate. There he is. I knew he was alive somewhere. Yes, the legate with two of his bodyguard making his way in. Oh, excuse me. Getting caught up there in the Romans. It's just the Praetorians really left, which is no big surprise. After all, elite Roman troops, they've got the highest health, the highest damage, highest armor out of all the Romans. So of course there's a bunch of the Praetorians still left. The Praetorian Centurion is getting stuck in. That's really going to give the Romans a bit more morale, because, I mean, gods know they need it. They really need the morale at this point. There's just this little knot of Romans left. This is all that remains. A couple of triarii, one or two legionary. Actually, no, there's a bunch of legionaries still left. There's a split between a few triarii, a few. No, the Praetorian just got hit by a velite. Oh, he didn't die from it, but that's still not good. Velite are going to be the things to make or break this, and quite honestly, as another legionary dies to the velites, yeah, it could easily be break. They did manage to take down one of the standard bearers, and oh, that guy just got saved by the dead legionary shield. Yeah, there's not really all too many of them left. I can count about 8 Romans here, most of which are Praetorians. That guy's very lucky that his shield took that velite missile. Down goes a triarii, but he's not dead. He might be from the fall, but no, he's alright. Just the small amount of Praetorians left, and honestly, these guys are going to be hurt from the battle out front. So I don't think they're going to be able to stand a chance against these elite shock troops and the Dows that are back here. Don't forget the Dows. They really did wonders last battle. They did manage to take down one of the shock troops though. There's one down at least. Just 9 more to go. And in goes a velite javelin. In goes another one. The velites might be able to help. One of the shock troops actually killed his own friend there. He was still alive just before that guy hit him. The velites are doing their part. The legate is getting involved, along with the remaining few Praetorians. Oh, down goes another shock troop. Another one just got hit and has also died. The Velites are really actually doing stuff now. Now that they've finished team killing. Yeah, looking at you lot. Now that they've finished team killing, they're actually helping out the Roman cause. They took out what, three of them right there. Oh, down goes a Praetorian though to a Dao. Oh, down goes another one, perhaps. I think another one died there. Still a brave Triari in there. There's also another legionary there. Down goes the Triari. Nope, he's dead. The Praetorian Centurion getting involved. Come on, lad. Nope, down he goes. Unfortunate. In comes a legionary though, jumping in. Got javelins. He's got javelins stuck in his shield. The legate is trying to deal with. Oh no. Oh, thank God for that. If they killed off the legate, if they did that, they'd be in for a world of trouble. But down goes the shock troop. Down he goes. The remaining Praetorian there just died. The Praetorian Centurion, yep, was also died. This is very close. This is a lot closer than I expected. The legate is still alive. What about on this flank? The Velites are still advancing on. Where are you lot going? You're falling into the water. For God's sake. Crossbowmen are just running away, and they're retreating so much they're falling into the water and dying. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant tactics there from the Han AI. Just absolutely fantastic. In goes the legate. We've got to watch the legate going in. Look at him go. He's a brave man dealing with these guys. I think one of the Dows might have killed themselves. No, they died to a Velite. The legate is getting chunked around everywhere. He's quite literally the last Roman. Oh, as his headdress just got parted. Oh, by a Velite missile. Oh God. Down goes another Dow. Yep, down he goes. And this one dies to the legate. And he's joined by the Triari that fell down the hill. It's just the Dow left. Just this one Dow left. And a few crossbowmen which are going to die. Down he goes. Have the Romans actually won this? Can the Velite manage to kill him? No, he can't before he falls into the water. Just look at that. Dead bodies down there. It's just, by the looks of it actually, the shield standard bearer left up here. If he actually managed to kill off the legate, then this guy deserves to live after all that. Triari has died, probably to one of the Velites. Legate, watch out! No, the legate! No! Velites, why? Why, Velites? Why would you do this? And, yeah, these Velites are going to die. No big surprise there. Who's left? Oh, that was it. That was it. Just the last crossbowman who was drowning down here. That was all that's left. Oh! The Romans won that. Just. Only just. The Velites were very hit and miss, but the Romans just about managed to win that. Oh, that was very close. Very, very close. Literally, it's just the Velites left for the Romans. The missile troops are all that remains. That was... I was definitely not expecting that to go how it did. I was honestly not. Look at the carnage. Look at the carnage down here. Just the amount of dead Romans that died right here. There was only like 8 Romans that actually managed to push up to here. Maybe like 10 Romans actually managed to push up to the main fortress. But then look at this. Look at this. The Praetorians did their thing. They just pushed in. They just pushed. Obviously, the legate died to a Velite. Bloody Velites. Along with this man. This man also died to a Velite. But I am going to say that those two lived because I want to. Because I want to say that those two lived. So canonically, these two lived. All right, these two lived and were able to march the Roman army into, you know, this town, wherever it is. So yeah, they managed to do that. The Velites obviously managed to kill off a couple of the crossbowmen here, but then the rest of them all fell down and died thanks to Tab's AI. Here's this guy that died. He fell down. That's all that we were waiting for, really. And of course, yeah, we got like basically all the crossbowmen here. There's no repeating crossbowmen. Those guys all died over here, including one which fell down there, regular crossbowman. So yeah, that was very surprising. Obviously, it's very sad that the Praetorian Centurion died, but he did manage to push all the way up here, which was very, very nice. Very nice to see that he did live so long into the battle. None of the Centurions lived, unsurprisingly. They all died here, along with their men. If this was Total War and you were getting the post-battle result screen, definitely the halberds were the MVPs for the Han here. It has to be said, they were the ones doing all of the damage. Just look, there's several dead Praetorians down here, along with a whole load of Romans. I saw far too many Romans die to the halberds. Also the Dows over here. The Dows and the halberds are probably the best units out of my Han Dynasty pack here. They're probably the best units to use out of all these guys. A couple of Velites have got trapped here, but a little less friendly fire won't hurt anyone. It'll probably save more people. And of course this knot of this knot of Velites was hit and miss. They did kill off like 3 or 4 shock troops, which very surprising, but they also killed off 3 or 4 Romans, which is also not too surprising, but also very sad that they did manage to do that. But the Romans actually managed to break through this line pretty easily. We saw that Praetorian push aside one of the shield bearer's shields, which allowed one of the Velite javelins to kill him, and then the Praetorian itself managed to kill off another shield bearer. The Han tactics this time, actually pushing out into the line of Triari, I wasn't too sure about it. I thought they were really breaking up their own line for no reason, but they really broke up the Roman attack, which I was surprised at. But it worked. There's a bunch of dead Han over here, but yeah, they managed to kill off. They managed to really disrupt the Roman attack, which is very surprising. But yeah, you can see a couple of dead Dow troops here, along with some spearmen, and of course a dead shock troop there. The shock troops didn't really seem to do a whole lot for the Han. They did die over here. No doubt they did kill off some of the Romans, but I think really the halberds were the things doing the killing. But yeah, even with the Han superior numbers and their crossbows, and probably slightly more melee troops over the Romans in that second battle, the Romans managed to win this, which, yeah, very, very surprising indeed. But there you go. If you were wondering in tabs what happens when the Han Dynasty met the Romans in ancient times, this is what happened. So yeah, there you go. I'll thank you for watching, and